Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Bragg, and I am a technical sales representative for SKC. As you can probably already tell by my accent, I am not located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I promise y'all that I will do my best to tame my southern drawl and speak as clearly and as quickly as possible. At this time, I do want to sincerely thank you all for joining the webinar. SKC is fully aware of the seriousness and impact that the COVID-19 virus is having on each of you, your families, and of course your work environment. We're trying to do our part in working together when and wherever possible to get through this with you. We hope that these webinars are just one way for both of us to stay as productive as possible so that when we get back to our regular normal, we will be even better prepared than before. So again, thank you very much. Quick format note. Please feel free to send any questions through the chat feature on the dashboard. I will do my best to stop at exactly 20 minutes. Then, along with the help of our team of panelists that are listening in as well, we will attempt to answer all of the questions if we have time. If we don't have time, please don't worry. We will be sure to get these answered and to you with a follow-up message. One more quick note. It has come to our attention that many ISPs and cellular carriers are having struggles with the current change in residential internet and cellular usage. So if something should happen during the presentation and we're unable to continue or you get knocked off of the call, we will get you a copy of the presentation in some format that we hope will be useful to you. To show you essential valuable tools that you may not know about or that you may know about but haven't had time to really research. Today I will be talking about the low flow pocket pump touch. It's very practical new features as compared to the original pocket pump. I will cover some basic operation and calibration and even delve lightly into Bluetooth connectivity. Then I will touch on our pump flow calibrator called the Checkmate that many people are not aware of yet. Specifically today, I'll be talking about the low flow version of the Checkmate. Lastly, I will talk about some special kits that we are offering and then get into some question and answering. I apologize in advance if I go too fast. I want to cover as much as possible, but I also want to be respectful of your time by sticking as closely to the 30-minute time slot as possible. So here we go. SKC really worked hard to get the input of customers like you on definitely based on concerns, requests, and needs expressed by you. So thank you for your input and as our valued customer. We're excited about how this pump is already helping users be more strategic in their low flow sampling. We really do feel like it has revolutionized the capabilities and possibilities for sorbent tube and sampling bags. We certainly leaned on the reliability of the past pocket pump. Many of you have probably used this pump, and some of you may still be using this pump today. They have been a very successful long-term product for SKC. Now we hope to show you today that we have taken that time-proven technology and combined it with new innovative technology. In the small pocket-sized pump, we have provided supercharged power. Now, instead of the 20 to 225 milliliters per minute flow range of its predecessor, the Pocket Pump Touch offers a range of 20 to 500 milliliters per minute, opening the door for more demanding multi-tube sampling applications. Even at 500 milliliters per minute, we can still offer run times of up to 20 hours. You can see the small size specified on your screen, combined with a weight of only 8.3 ounces or 235 grams for our international guests. It truly is a pocket pump that can fit in your pocket or be worn almost unnoticeably on the belt. Now I want to get into some new features, and again, when I say new, it's not something that we have changed since the launch, but new in comparison to its predecessor. I truly believe and I hope that you will find these highlighted features to be very practical. The first of these is the recessed power button, which is now very low profile, which assists in preventing accidental powering on or powering off. And it also helps in the prevention of maintenance costs due to breakage from bumping up against things during standard work functions. It is a multi-function button that turns the pump on, of course, but it also can put the touch screen into a sleep mode and then wake it up again, which prevents accidental actions on the pump while the pump is running. This button is also part of the pump security capabilities by prompting the user to enter a password when pressed, if you have programmed it to do so. We will touch on that a little bit more later as well. Of course, it also turns the pump off when you are done, but it will only turn the pump off as long as the pump is not in the run mode. Next is kind of the namesake of this pump, the touchscreen navigation. This display is a great size, especially if you consider how small the pump is. It is very clear and easy to see and read. We would like to make all of our products so simple and intuitive that you don't have to read the instruction manual to perform basic operation and calibration functions. Using universal symbols and verbiage, we attempt to give you everything you need on the screen without the need for any screwdrivers or other adjustment tools to easily perform your job in the office, lab, or in the field with hopefully no surprises and no frustration. If you are doing bag sampling, which I know some of you are, we didn't forget about that necessity either. We have two options for you for this application. The standard exhaust port that is circled in red on the screen can easily be adapted for bag sampling using the quick connect adapter shown on the lower left side of your screen. Or we have another option just to the right of the quick connect adapter that fits into the same port. It is a hose barb fitting, much like the clear inlet fitting you see in the picture, but it is black to help prevent confusion when connecting the tubing. Now this is another great feature with multiple functions. The highly visible status LEDs provide a lot of information that in the past you either couldn't get at all, or you may have had to interrupt the worker's normal tasks in order to get the information. There are 3 different indicators that serve the purpose of getting you vital information from a distance. All of these indicators will flash green when the pump is running properly. They will flash red when the pump has faulted. The pump will continue to try to restart for a certain period of time and will change back to green if the desired flow rate is again achieved. The inlet LED, which is the one in the center on top of the pump, will flash a yellow-orange color when the pump has been placed in constant pressure mode and is working to achieve the setting. It will turn green once the setting has been reached. These LEDs also provide the battery charging status. They will all flash red when the pump battery is charging. Then the inlet LED will turn solid green, and the corner LEDs will flash green when the charging is complete. It's important to note that there is also a battery icon on the display that will be flashing as well. I'm going to walk through changing the flow rate on the pump. Sorry, I skipped a page. Obviously, to you, one of the most important features is the durability and dependability of the pump. So on this screen, we're going to talk about the durability and the other things that you can count on with the pump. This pump truly is solid and secure. The case is made of impact-resistant polycarbonate overmolded with conductive thermoplastic elastomer. This not only makes the pump extremely durable, but it makes it more comfortable to hold and to grip, and it also reduces the sound. One more of the many customer influence features of this pump is a easily replaceable stainless steel belt clip. It is very durable, so it is going to be much harder to damage, but in the case that it should happen, you can easily replace it in the field. And lastly, this pump has very important IS or intrinsically safe approvals from UL, ATEX, and IECEX. The last of these physical features that I want to point out is the magnetic charging connector. Again, a multi-functioning feature. This not only makes it fast and easy to connect the charging, it gives the convenience of plugging into any USB port. The Sure Connect blue indicator light lets you know that the USB port that you have chosen is supplying the power needed to charge the pump's battery. Now that I have covered these physical features of the pump, I want to do some basic pump operation and calibration to let you get a feel for the simplicity of the pump and the touch navigation screen. I'm going to perform a simple pump setup exercise. I'm going to walk through changing the flow rate from where it is now, which is 35 milliliters per minute, which you can see in the upper left-hand corner of the display, to a flow rate of 250 milliliters per minute. Then we will do a single point calibration as well. To begin, in order to adjust the flow rate, you would need to touch the flow rate button in the upper left corner of the display. Now you have two choices to set the flow rate. If you want to make a smaller adjustment, just a few milliliters per minute, you can touch the up and down arrows just below the display. Or you can press the left and right arrows at the top of the display to change the flow rate using a fixed larger increment shown on the display. I've found it very useful to use both, actually. You can make larger adjustments in flow rate using the left and right arrows to go to either 5, 125, 250, 375, or 500 milliliters per minute. And then you can use the up and down arrows to fine-tune the flow rate if it is not one of the 5 preset values. So now, to get our desired flow rate of 250 milliliters per minute that I mentioned earlier, from the current 35 milliliters per minute that the pump is currently set to, you would just touch the right arrow twice. Once you have reached the desired flow rate, you would accept it by touching the check mark on the screen. The flow rate has now been saved, and the pump will return to the main sampling screen. Now that we have set the flow rate, I want to go through a basic single point calibration so that you can see how nice it is to be able to perform the calibration just using the touch screen. At this point, if you hadn't already, you would need to go ahead and set up the sampling train to perform your sample just as you would in the field. Then attach it to the Flowmeter or Calibrator. In this illustration, we have the Pocket Pup Touch connected to a single non-adjustable tube holder, which I have removed the tube cover, then a sorbent tube, and then to the SKC low flow Checkmate calibrator. In this scenario, the pump would already be at the main sampling screen after we accepted the flow rate earlier. So you would touch the calibration button in the upper right-hand corner. The pump will automatically start running and change to the calibration adjustment screen. At this point, you can use the up and down arrows to speed up and slow down the pump's motor until the flow rate indicated on the calibration reaches the desired 250 milliliters per minute. It is important that you note that you're not changing the displayed flow rate on the pump, only the pump speed, in an effort to truly calibrate the pump to match your calibrator or flow meter. In our example or illustration here, our calibration factor is -2. What that means is that we had to slow the pump down by pressing the down arrow twice in order to make the calibrator flow rate reach our desired 250 milliliters per minute. Now to complete and accept the calibration, simply touch the check mark on the display. You have now completed the calibration in 3 simple steps. So in just a matter of a few minutes, we have just performed the basic flow adjustment and flow calibration normally required to get started doing your air sampling. So now that we've completed that basic operation and calibration, I'm going to quickly go through some additional capabilities. The first one of these is to set a timed run. In other words, this gives you the ability to set the pump to run for a designated amount of time after you press start. You would touch the runtime box in the bottom left corner of the screen. This would automatically take you to the screen to set the time duration in hours and minutes using the up and down arrows on the pump. And then there would be left and right arrows as well that would appear on the screen. Touch the start arrow to begin the sample. The pump will now run for the duration that you set and then automatically stop without you being present. There are pre-programmed samples, or presets as we call them, that you can download from the DataTrack software. You can customize those to meet your need, and that will allow you to do additional functionality like automatically starting and stopping the pump and at a set flow rate. If the pump is already running, the active sampling screen provides critical details such as time, date, battery status, flow rate, and runtime. Additional information cycles on the screen. This could be valuable information like accumulated sample volume, temperature, atmospheric pressure, and inlet pressure, which is the back pressure of the media being used. Additional capabilities include options for locking the display on the pump. The pump can be locked and unlocked by pressing the power button on top of the pump. You may recall I referred to this earlier as kind of putting the touch screen to sleep. This mode is simply to stop people from accidentally touching and activating something on the screen. The secure lock, however, is a feature that allows you to set a custom password that will be required upon pressing the power button. The main goal here would be to prevent tampering by the wearer or someone else intentionally. Bluetooth connectivity to the DataTrack Pro software allows easy interface without the necessity of cables or cradles. No configuration is required using this USB dongle. It is preloaded with custom software, which makes connecting the pump to the software very simple. The DataTrack Pro will automatically find and connect to any nearby pump. However, we are making available the Pocket Pump Touch without Bluetooth if preferred or if required. The DataTrack Pro enhances usability and convenience of this pump. And I know a lot of people don't use software, but there are truly some great features in our DataTrack Pro software that might help you be more efficient and productive. For example, configuring multiple Pocket Pump Touch units by being able to send the same information to multiple units. You can upload preset program runs, as I mentioned earlier, to the pump. And I feel like this is a heavily underused feature of this and some of our other pumps as well. This gives you the ability to have multiple pumps start at exactly the same time, or even if it's just one pump, you can have it start and stop at exactly the times you need, even if you're not present. You can also download, view, and export sample history. You can browse and work with all previously downloaded sampling records. And you can update the Pocket Pump Touch firmware in order to stay up to date without having to send the pump in to SKC. Now here's just another great feature for time savings. From your smartphone or other mobile device, whether it be an Apple iOS or Android format, find the SKC SmartWave app. Now, from your mobile device, you can adjust the flow, change certain unit settings, change the pump name, start and stop the pump, and then check and monitor the pump status, whether it be a single pump or multiple pumps in the area. Now that concludes the pump instruction and information portion. So now I want to take a couple of minutes to introduce you to our Calibrator. In my opinion, this is one of our unintentional best kept secrets and that's the Checkmate Calibrator. I assure you that it's not our goal to keep it a secret, but every time I show this to someone, they are amazed at the simplicity and the accuracy specs on this unit, and they are shocked that they didn't know something like this was available. It's truly unmatched value and performance. We have a standard flow version with a range of 500 to 5,000 milliliters per minute. But obviously the low flow version, which is what you would use for the pocket pump touch, is what I want to cover today. It has a range of 20 to 500 milliliters per minute with 1% accuracy in the range of 50 to 500 milliliters per minute. It is NIST and UCAS certifications. It is ready to use when you need it because it automatically corrects for changes in the environment with temperature and pressure. It has a true one-button operation and a very nice large display for the continuously updating running average. It is extremely lightweight at 8.3 ounces, and you can operate it in any orientation. It doesn't have to be vertical. It can be laying down or standing up, or you can just be holding it in your hand. And it runs for an estimated 30 hours on one 9-volt battery. All of this and the Checkmate Calibrator is still roughly half of the price of our competition. So if you haven't seen our Checkmate or used it to perform calibrations, I assure you that you will be amazed at the simplicity and the accuracy. This is the last slide before the Q&A, and I'm going to go through this quickly because I'm running about a minute behind. I mentioned earlier that we were offering some special kits. I realize that budgets right now are already being affected, and they will certainly be affected more in the future due to the effects of the COVID-19 virus on our economy. But I wanted to mention that about 6 weeks ago, our marketing team came up with these two kits that include the Checkmate Calibrator for free, and it is truly for free. You can see here what the normal price is and what the special kit pricing is for now. I want to be careful and not make this into a sales pitch. So this is all I'm going to say. If you are in need of low flow sampling pumps, this will be a great time to get a $949 calibrator for free. Just please give us a call or contact us via email or our website. Now, at this time, I'm going to jump into the question and answer portion. And I believe that Chuck Notgreiner is going to join in now and read some of the questions.
Thank you, Andy. That was a great presentation. Really appreciate what you've done there. My job to ask the questions that we've had typed in. So the first question, Andy, does SKC make a small and quiet pump that flows between 1 to 4 liters per minute? The vast majority of my IH sampling is around 2 to 3 LPM. Answer to that one.
Okay, well, that's a good question, and we actually have several answers. And Chuck, I may lean on you on this in just a moment, but we have a couple of different options there. We have the AirCheck 52, which will give you a flow rate up to 3 liters per minute, but then we also have the XR 5000 and the AirCheck Touch, kind of the big brother, if you will, to the pocket pump touch, that give you flow rates up to 5 liters per minute. So I hope that answers your question. We actually have 3 different options available. Chuck, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you've done a good job answering that one. Second question, Andy. Should the pump be set for constant flow or constant pressure with high back pressure media, as an example, silica gel? Do you want me to handle that one, Andy?
Yes, please.
Okay. There are some tubes, as an example, our 226-10-03 that you sample for acids with. It has a little filter in the front end of it that's a silica gel tube, which is a high back pressure tube. The only reason you can sample either in hot pressure mode or constant flow mode. The only reason you'd sample for in pressure mode would be if you're sampling more than one tube at a time. They'll both handle up to 20 inches of water back pressure. So it really doesn't make a difference where your back pressure is, as long as it's under 20 inches. We recommend if you're sampling one tube at a time, you sample in constant flow mode. Hope that answers that question. Let me get to the next one. Constant pressure. The most vulnerable part of the pump is the intake nipple. Why is it plastic? Can you easily get replacement nipples if it breaks?
That's a great question. It is, obviously with the pump, the size was an issue, trying to keep the pump as small as possible. It would be difficult to recess that inlet down inside the pump because the inner workings of the pump are pretty packed. Or we would have had to make the pump a little larger to somehow recess that inlet. In regards to the availability of replacement parts, Chuck, do you know if that's something that's easily replaceable?
You know what? We've never, in the 2 years that we've sold these, we've never had one break. At least I know of, we never had one break. So if one does break, we can obviously get a replacement for you. The problem is, I don't know if it would be easily replaced. So maybe that's something that we could get with our repair department on and send that question out via email. You okay with that, Andy?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Last question. Will this presentation be available after the webinar?
And the answer to that is yes. We're going to work together to get a presentation out to you as part of a follow-up. Some modifications we made to incorporate the animations all in one, but yes, the presentation will be available.
That's great. That's it for the questions that I've had sent to me via the box on the right-hand side of the screen. So we appreciate your time and effort. Thank you very much for attending. And thanks for your interest in SKC.
Thank you all very much.